I thought Ross Hodge was just going to have a regular old press conference today, and he started talking about Big 12 title, and my ears perked right up.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I'm your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, babies. What's up, guys? I appreciate you all for jumping in late again tonight. We're Paul After Dark in it, and that's cool where you enjoy that. This is going to be a fun one, man. We got a few people here to talk ball. Obviously, this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Look, guys, like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward with Mazda. Move and be moved. I'm not doing it alone. I've got a couple of fellers in here tonight. Really excited about having them both on here. We've got Jackson Johnson, who, came under fire this week already. I've had to defend him. And the Jersey Ear, who has his own show. What do you say, fellas?
Oh, man, we're ready to rock and roll on a Thursday night.
That's right. Jersey Ear just dropped an episode, I'm pretty sure, didn't you say?
Yeah, I dropped one earlier today. It's the Utah preview, which is cool. Paul, I just want to say, thank you for having me on the show. I've been watching you for a while now, so this is definitely cool to give me some airtime and let me talk about the Mountaineers that I'm passionate about.
Absolutely,
so,
brother. We're happy.
It.
We're happy to have you on, man. I've invited you on, I think, a couple times, and we've had to sync it up because you got a life, you know what I mean? So you have I think you're a teacher, you said on the side and other things. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, teacher and a dad of two young boys, 4 and 2 years old. So I try to brainwash them as much as I can about the Mountaineers. So I'm trying to do my part.
All right. So Ross Hodge had a press conference today. I'm going to run through a couple things that he said today that really caught me off guard. Not caught off guard, but just a couple other things were just run of the mill. A couple of the things were like, okay. He said he was at the Backyard Brawl. It's a great recruiting tool. He said it was awesome. The energy was great there. He said he skipped the blue lot, which I thought was funny, and said he didn't go up in the deep end of the blue lot. He said he said the team is establishing solid routines right now. Hardworking group transitioning from old to new mistakes, which is great. You don't always want to have to own the same mistakes. Harlan Obiohas dropped 30 pounds and added muscle. Said he's got to lead hands and feet touch for longer stretches. That made me really happy to hear that. He said the team's going through a self-discovery phase right now. So it's not just practice. It's more of a structured pickup play over controlled drills. Obviously the headline is the Big 12 part of this. One of the guys said, well, you can't win the Big 12 in year one. He said, well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. That one really caught me off guard a little bit. I wasn't expecting to hear him say that. Now, to give it a little more context, he said it like this. I want to push back on that a little bit. It's kind of the tone, right? So it's not like he's like, I'm pushing back on this. So it's not like that. But he said he's not wired to think any other way, which makes sense. But that's the kind of coach I want in Morgantown, Jersey Ear, and I'll toss it to you. Like, obviously, this is year one. We've witnessed year one. We've witnessed highs and lows of a year one under head coach Darren DeVries before he bounced. What are your personal expectations for this team in year one and the basketball side of things? And do you think Coach Hodge has a team primed for a Big 12 title run in year one, or is that just shooting for the moon?
Well, I think, coaches are smart, right? They know their team is listening to that press conference, right? So they're going to try to do whatever they can to motivate the team. So it could have been some coach speak because, we're in the best basketball conference in the country. So that would be an amazing accomplishment for year one. But my expectation for this team is to be a gritty basketball team that's going to compete each and every night in the Big 12 and be competitive. So, we need some glimmers of hope, Mountaineer Paul. It's been a rough go for us Mountaineer fans, especially with the way last basketball season ended. So this coach is going to have a fan base that is going to rally around him. So as long as these guys play hard and they show us glimmers of hope, and I think really the expectation anytime we play basketball is to make the NCAA tournament.
Jackson, what are your thoughts on a team coming into the Big 12, which is like the SEC? And you know all about that as an Alabama fan. How would you feel about a team in year one with a new coach saying, I think we got a shot at the SEC this year?
If I'm a player under that team, I feel pretty good that my coach has faith in me right there. Like
right.
Because I mean, it's like West Virginia, like those boys are going to play hard for Coach Hodge. Like they are going to be playing humongously huge going into this season.
Humongously huge.
2025, 2026 looking pretty good. I hope to see a pretty good conference title run. Like, I don't think West Virginia's going to win the conference title in the tournament, but a great run would be awesome for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, obviously our expectations are where they should be, but it gets me excited to hear Coach Hodge go that route, man. What did you think, Jersey year, about Harlan Obioha, who was a big piece of this class? The knock on him is he's a great player, but he can only play 18 minutes a game. They said he shed 30 pounds. He's a 7-footer with elite hands, elite touch. What if you get an extra 5 or 8 minutes out of him a game? That's a game changer, right?
Yeah, I think the center position is probably the biggest question mark. It reminds me of our offensive line in football, which is you like the pieces around that around him with Floyd and Huff and Eagle staff and Lorient, right? I think those guys are all established guys, so he's the big question mark, right? Average 9.2 games, 9.2 points a game last year. So if he's solid, I think we can have a solid team. So like you said, he dropped some weight, so. He's probably going to have a bigger increased role for this team, especially with you never know with the injury situation that can happen in a basketball season. I mean, look at what happened to West Virginia last year through the injuries, whether they were real or not. We were definitely thin at some positions, and a lot of guys had to play a lot of minutes. I mean, Small had to play like 40 minutes a game. So, like I said, I think he's going to be an important piece to the team, because I like all the other pieces as the starters around the team. So he's going to be an important person on the
team. I've still got it on here from November 28th, 2024, me talking about Tucker being out in November before he ever made 8 threes in a game. So
I've never seen a conspiracy theory take the heights that it did, like it did for our fan base there. Like I said, who knows? Only those people know, right? Only those people would know, but it definitely was a little shady the way the season ended last year and the way it kind of worked out. But yeah, it's a good thing you remind the people of it.
He definitely got paid, right? And that's the thing, like what sucks about the previous iteration of these contracts for NIL is there's really not a lot of protection in there for the university, right? At least until now. I think there is now. They're signing contracts. There in the beginning, it was the Wild West. You just send a guy the money and you hope he stays, right? So
it's amazing how clever people can get nowadays, and what's happening. I mean, you think you're seeing it more and more, even in football. Guys are making business decisions third through the season, and there's a lot of money at stake for both the university and for both the players. So it's an interesting time that we're living in for sure.
Let's go to break really quick because I have to get, before he goes out of here, I got to get Jackson's thoughts on the Utah game before one more time before we play the game, because he's always got the insights when it comes to football. We'll be right back on Locked on West Virginia. My mouse quit working. There it goes. And this episode of Locked on West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends over at, of course, as always, we love talking about them at Mazda. Look, when it comes to Mazda, there's a couple things we know. And it's moving the game forward is one of those things, right? For those who just believe, it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, culture. They keep moving the game forward as well. This week's moment that moved the game forward is Ross Hodge declaring that we might have a shot at the Big 12 title. Look, when you follow what moves you like Ross Hodge, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Do it today with Mazda. Move and be moved. All right, we are back here in segment 2. We crack open to do, of course. Jackson Johnson, you've got 4 minutes left here, man.
Fastest 4 minutes. Nice.
Do your best boomer impersonation.
Oh, man.
Give me your fastest 4
What?
minutes on the
There we
Mountaineers
go.
versus what? Here
man.
it is. No,
man. But in all seriousness, so yeah, like when Utah last week, they had 23 missed tackles on Texas Tech. That was bad right there. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be happening against West Virginia. It's not happening. But if you can make Utah go to field goal range,
you've been on this all week.
Huh?
You've been on this all week about their special teams. They were bad last week.
Uh-huh. And they were disastrous against Wyoming. Because
they were. That's right.
Oh, yeah. 1 of 4 field goals were good against Wyoming. Can you imagine if that were to happen against West Virginia? That'd be disastrous.
Be in the game.
Oh, man, it'd be disastrous for the Utah Utes. Now, West Virginia has to make sure they've got a great running game going. And you got to make sure your quarterback situation is all good. Got to get it all prepared, because if you don't, it's going to get ugly. Make Utah throw that ball.
I appreciate you
on them, because
Jackson, I love you, but those are some big ifs right now. I think a lot of Mountaineer fans right now saying, waiting to get that run game going. We hope you're right, because it has been, besides Ty Edwards' breakout game and Jaheim when he was healthy, man, we are feeling pretty discouraged about that. So I hope you're right. Hopefully we can get that going this week, but it's going to be a tough
I don't really like where Utah's going this season as of right now. I mean, you lost to a really good Kansas team. Ohio's a good MAC team. I think West Virginia's going to have their up game against Utah at Morgantown. Now, if it was at Utah, then West Virginia's in real big trouble.
Yeah, kind of like last week. The Jackson, get ready to do the Alabama call-in show, man. I'm going to go ahead and let you jump out of here, brother. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you here in the next couple of days. We'll do another show or something together, man.
Absolutely,
thank you, brother.
Man. Y'all stay safe.
Make sure you go find him at the Jacksonian and at the Alabama Voice of College Football. Thanks, my dude.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you for having me on. And Jersey Ear, nice meeting you. Good buddy.
You too, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. Thanks you. I love Jackson. I really do. I brought him on out of spite, if you want me to be honest. So I have a heart for people, and Jackson's trying to get better at this. He hosts the show over the Alabama Voice College Football show. Not that he's bad at it, but he has a heart for college football. And somebody jumped in my comments earlier today and said some really derogatory things that really upset me. So I'm like, you know what, man? How about you leave and I'll bring Jackson on again? just that kind of thing makes me mad. You're not going to tell me. So anyways, back on track. You told me not to go off the rails right before the show started.
It's all good. Jackson's a good guy, but it kind of comes with the territory sometimes. You just need thick skin, right? So people are going to make comments, and you have to kind of.
You don't even care. It's me being protective of a friend. No,
100%.
It's just what it is. It's the same thing. If somebody said something about you after this, I would do the same thing.
I appreciate that, but they can say whatever they want. It's all good.
So this is a game where West Virginia we're in a tough spot, right? We got 11 players on IR. You've got Nico Marchiol seeing a doctor in Colorado, which sounds like cover for not coming back this year. You've got Kimo Makaniole and Tykees Crawford, who got injured. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorists, but there's a lot of people who think this, right? That maybe just how happened in Game 4 as well, right? It's funny how that works, We'll see if they come back. Maybe they do. But I've got a few people that think that we got some players that may not be coming back after this week. We'll see.
They removed Devontae Golden Nelson, right? He's off the roster now.
Correct. So? Yeah, he's already going to try to keep his red shirt and all that. But with 11 players on IR, I mean, obviously our backs are up against it. What has been your feeling about this game all week? Have you had a gut feeling about how we're going to perform? Do you feel like, are you doom and gloom? Are you in the middle?
I get more optimistic as the week goes on. From just listening to the other shows and stuff, it sounds like Utah fans have their own self-consciousness themselves, right? I mean, let's face it. I mean, Utah, yes, they have high expectations, and they, on paper, they look like the better team, but they have to prove it in this conference too, right? They're 2-8 since joining the league, so they definitely have some question marks too among
That's a
themselves.
great stat.
And it's crazy to think about because I have a lot of respect for Utah and their program. They've been a good brand of football since Urban Meyer's gotten there. But like you said, man, our backs are against the wall. It's going to be important that West Virginia has some strong leaders in that locker room this week because it feels like it's almost falling apart a little bit, which is a little disappointing. So,
you think so? Yeah, I guess it kind of does with the Nico thing and the injuries and all that. It does in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
No, I was just, but I trust Rich Rod. I think he'll hold it together.
Yeah, I think he will too. I don't think he's panicking. I mean, he's been doing this a long time and things like that. And these are some of the growing pains that we're ultimately going to have to go through. I think for me, the big thing this week is going to be what does this offense look like with Jalen Henderson if he is the quarterback? What does it look like? I think last week they should have made the change earlier in the game. I mean, you had 5 3-and-outs to start the game and you were punting. And I just think Rich Rod's quarterback changing has been at weird times this year, right? I mean,
it's been strange.
Putting Scotty Fox in when you're leading against Pitt, putting him in that situation, a true freshman, against your bitter rival with that front seven was interesting. But I think West Virginia, the key, one of the keys to the game is just trying to keep this thing close until the fourth quarter and then take your best shot at it, right? Utah is a dynamic offense, but they're not going to take the top off the defense, right? They're going to dink and dunk you, and they're going to try to get that run game going with Wayshawn Parker and Dan Pierre. So, we just have to keep our heads in it, maybe call some turnovers, and just give ourselves a fighting chance until the fourth quarter. Because we cannot have another week like we had last week where it's over by the start of the second half. We need to keep our fans engaged in this one. Make some plays and give yourself a fighting shot in the fourth quarter, and maybe that Milan Postgar Stadium magic will pay off.
Yeah, I brought up Jalen's highlights a couple times today, but I really do think he gives us the best chance to win, man. I really do. I mean, is he Pat White speed of a runner? I wouldn't say that at all. But when he's in rhythm, he can really throw the ball around. This right here is a good throw. This is a nice little fade route towards the pylon. Like when he's in rhythm, he really can play. I think for whatever reason, he just hasn't had the right opportunity.
And I think, he's been coming cold off the bench, which is extremely hard to do. We haven't
one series here, one series there. It's been crazy.
Yeah, and you've thrown him in at really tough situations in the game, like, Ohio when we're down and we're trailing. And then he asked him to do it in Pitt. And then last week, after the game was kind of over, he could kind of relax a little bit and showed what he could do. I know it was kind of garbage time, but like you said, man, his tape, there was a reason they brought this guy in. And he looks like the prototypical Rich Rod quarterback. So maybe this is the spark we need, man. Maybe it's now it's 2 different players.
It's a tall task.
It's a very tall task. I always go back. The one game that always gives me hope was 2013 when we beat Oklahoma State at home, that Gold Rush. We started Clint Trickett. We got a new quarterback, a spark. And that season was rough, but that was the one game that we put it all together. Can we put it all together for another game? We did it against Pitt. Can you do it against Utah that's traveling far away? So it's going to be a tall task. If we win this game, it would be one of Rich Rod's best coaching jobs, but that's why they played the game.
5-2 versus Kyle Whittingham. Look at this play here. Watch Jalen Henderson go through 2 reads and then come back over the middle. Here's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4 read. That's his 4th read.
Look how
so
nice
he's clearly capable of doing this.
Look how nice the pocket is there.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a great pocket. I'm not saying that. But, even when it's not great, as you can see here, he's capable, right? He feels pressure well. He throws running to his left well.
My point is that's what an offensive line should look like for
for sure.
I mean,
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
The scary part is, Utah has the Daly kid that has 6 sacks this year, off the edge. So that's going to be a tall task for a team that's really struggled pass blocking. So they're going to have to really key on him this week.
Yeah, obviously I had Bernie Mac on earlier today, and he was telling me some things like, there hasn't been a whole lot of Rich Rod is not the kind of coach that tries to out scheme you, really. He's the kind of coach that tries to out execute you, right? We do what we do and you stop it, right? We line up fast, we run plays and we out execute. He's not like last week how Kansas is moving the formation around. They've got all this motion, and all of a sudden your defense is tricked, and they've got 6 because it's what I mean. So it's like that's a knock I've heard on Rich Rod this year is like he's not really manufacturing plays to make us a bit better here and there.
I heard that part, and I think it comes down to a personnel issue, right? I mean, look at
that's what it is. Exactly.
It's what it is. I mean, let's face it. The last time Rich Rod was here, he had Pat White, Noel Devine, and Steve Slayton running the
Jimmy's
ship.
and Joe's.
We have Clay Ash and Nico Markiel and a not a good offensive line. So it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how good of a play caller he is. When you don't have that talent, it's going to be extremely challenging. So I think, we have to keep that in mind. I think the biggest thing with West Virginia is that for this team, right? This is a showcase for next year for a lot of these players. We have to figure out over these next 8 games who can play and who can't play, because there's going to be some tough decisions in the transfer portal coming up. Do we need a new quarterback? Because next year the pressure is going to be on next year if we don't turn this thing around this year. They're not, people are going to start getting loud because we want to start winning.
I agree.
So are you going to run a redshirt freshman next year out there? Or are you going to go get a proven quarterback? Or, is Jaheim going to stay? There's a lot of questions that need to get answered, and we need to find guys that can help us for the future in these last 8 games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. One other thing I want to ask you about after the break here. Interesting that Tykees Crawford may not play tomorrow. Does that mean Xavier Bosley will? And we know he's a good football player that's just been injured. Could he help an offensive line that really needs help? We'll ask Jersey here next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends, of course, as always, over at DoorDash. And look, when it comes to DoorDash, it's no secret, right? It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more money every time you order. As a matter of fact, it's pretty good. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For West Virginia, I have to give Jalen Henderson the Player of the Week award, even though it was a bad week. He delivered in a big way, and I think the way he played in the fourth quarter last week can be replicated. You just have to keep him in the game. And just like Jalen Henderson delivered in the fourth quarter for West Virginia, DoorDash delivers your Saturday with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Do me a favor. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash where the terms apply. Promo code through 11/18. And, of course, we can't be caught lying again without our friends, of course, at 5 Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy. These shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot's packed with caffeine, a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get the boost you need when you need it. And look, I like how fast it kicks in. Even though it's sugar-free, I don't have to worry about crashing later, which helps so much. Enough of the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade. And 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the flavors you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon today. We're back with the man, the myth, the legend, the Jersey here. Man, I appreciate you for jumping on, dude. I really love your stuff. I think you're an underrated part of Mountaineer Nation that has a lot to say.
Appreciate it.
So, if you had more time to dedicate to it, I have no doubt that your show would be growing at a really fast rate. Not that it's not growing as it is, but I'm saying if you had full time, you'd be killing it.
I appreciate it.
So what I was going to throw at you before the break, Xavier Bosley, freshman All-American in this system. He doesn't have to learn it. You bring him in if he's healthy. Obviously, there's the conditioning factor we don't know here, but let's just assume he's back to himself again. Boone or not Boone?
Boom. I mean, boom. I mean, he's like I said, freshman All-American at Jack State. It just makes too much sense. I mean, he has to. I think he has to be injured, right? I mean, because he already.
There's no doubt he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah, like 100%. Like, I mean, look at the guys. Look at some of the Jack State guys that we've brought in. They've been some of our best players. You know, Fred Perry and Cam Vaughn. Like, they're some of our best players. They've proven that they can make that jump from the group of five to now. So I think it makes too much sense, and I think we need a major spark at offensive line. I'm actually excited to see Carson Lee get some playing time.
I am too.
I'm surprised that he wasn't a starter somewhere along that line because he played so many snaps at Eastern Michigan. So I'm kind of glad that he gets a chance here now.
He doesn't have all the measurables. He's like 6'2". He's kind of a shorter guy. That's my guess. And Landon Livingston's like physically, like he looks the part. And I think they were probably trying to bet on him being young, and it's probably close enough to where, they were betting on. And Landon played good at times this year. He by far the worst player we had on the O-line going. Was he dominating? Was he Zach Frazier? Not necessarily, but I had a feeling that Livingston could grow into something.
Yeah.
But you lose me at Kimo Muckaniole, and I know his dad watches the show sometimes, or a family member named James. That's interacted with him in the comments, always been respectful, but you can't lie with the numbers that have come out on a couple of these dudes. I mean, Kimo Muckaniole was graded literally the worst guard in the entire nation out of over 300 guards.
Saw that.
It's just, you can't. And then Walter Youngbear is like in the hundreds. So you can't, there's no way you literally can't get worse.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Rich Rod even said in his presser this week that if the other guys were there, they would play him. So it's concerning, And the scary part is they're probably going to have to try to do this again next year.
They picked the players, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
I mean, Kimo was a big risk because he got moved to the defensive line for a reason at LSU. Now it's LSU, so they're probably rolling the dice on that. But you just never know. I'm actually surprised Tykees Crawford has struggled because I liked him. I thought he had a high upside. So seeing him struggle is surprising to me. But like I said, I think that's the most discouraging thing about this whole rebuild, Paul, is that we're probably going to have to go into the portal again for offensive linemen next year. And who knows if it's going to get fixed. It's really hard to get quality offensive linemen out of the portal.
And not pay a lot of money. I didn't want I'd mentioned this on the show a couple of times. I don't know if you heard me say it, but I spoke to Tykees Crawford's offensive line coach before the year. And his name was Grimm. I think it was at Charlotte. It was obviously an off-record conversation, but, it's too late now. But, basically there was a knock on him with learning the playbook. And the thought was, well, since Rich Rod doesn't ask you to do a lot on the offensive line, it's basically just run up, line up, figure out who you're getting, and then go. And we've seen multiple just straight up breakdowns on the right side of the offensive line, multiple free runners, 3 or 4 in one game.
It's been all season. And, it's I remember that pitch to Jaheim on the right side against Ohio that went nowhere. They weren't getting push against Robert Morris, let's face it. And
is it a physical issue, or is it a connectivity issue along the, because a lot of times an offensive line can be bad for multiple reasons. It's just they're not all moving as one. They're not gelling, or it's a physical thing, or it can be both. If the players are just better than your players, then you can't do anything about that.
I think we have a talent issue. I mean, and
that's the worst.
It is. I mean, you listen to Kazaz, and I heard you say it this week. We spend in NIL money. We might have beaten 2 or 3 teams this year on our schedule that we beat in NIL money. And it's just in this day and age, it's going to get really challenging. I think that's the biggest. That's another thing that's just discouraging right now, right? I mean, we know that we have the right coach in place, right? I think we all believe that, or most people do. But you can't teach talent. Look at Texas Tech right now, right? They opened some eyes, right? And I know it's only one game, but man, they looked explosive. Man, they looked good. And that's because they spend a lot of money. And I think that's the biggest hurdle that we're going to have to answer over the next few years is.
Well, that's headed in a good direction. Even
yes,
today we announced something big. Do you have a reaction to that? We sold the stadium or the Coliseum rights. That's obviously going towards NIL. That's going towards everything we need.
We got to keep going. If that's one step. I'm sure the naming rights to a field is going to come soon. Luxury boxes. I mean, we have to keep going because we're not the only school that's going to be doing this. There's going to be other schools that do it as well. We have to be innovative. Ren Baker, we trust him. We love him. We got to keep going, man. We got to keep pushing. We got to donate more because that's the only way that we have a chance at surviving this. It's scary times, Paul. It really is.
Let me ask you this. They did a 10-year deal, right? They said it's 7 figures annually. So let's say it's 1 point. Let's just make it 1 million to be easy over 10 years, right? That's not bad, right? That's pretty good. I mean, would you take that? I mean, here's the thing. If you could front load that, would you do it? Or do you think that would be really stupid? To bet it all on 1 year next year and have a year like Texas Tech, maybe where all the interest comes back, you're going to get more money if you win, right? Paul,
this team, this state, this program, we desperately need to get this thing back on track. I mean, I'm a spoiled West Virginia fan, all right? So background, I went there in 2011. That was my first year. I saw us win an Orange Bowl. When I was in high school, we were winning BCS championships. Seeing West Virginia from afar was man, that's a national power. It was almost like a blue blood. That's where we were heading.
And I was there.
And now, it's just like a pipe. It just feels like we're so far away from that. Just especially the bad taste in your mouth that just happened against Kansas. But if you look at that Pitt game, man, and you saw what it looked like on TV. And
for one night.
If you look back at the LSU game 2011 and what that looked like, if we can just get the stadium to look like that all the time, if we started winning again, man, the students are going to come back. The brand is going to come back, but we can't do that unless we compete. So
we're running out of time.
We are. And with conference realignment, it's important, man. We're about to be on a decade-long run of irrelevant football if we don't start winning in the next 3-4 years. Not to depress everybody out there, but
my worst nightmare is we look up one day and we're Oregon State or we're Washington State.
It makes me want to throw up.
It's literally my worst nightmare.
Because Paul, I live in New Jersey, right? So I live my co-teacher is a Penn State season ticket holder. Notre Dame's big around here. Rutgers, we're bigger than Rutgers even up here, but there's other brands.
They're way more stable than us.
We're just an afterthought. People almost look at us almost like a group of 5 school right now.
Of course they do.
And I made this comment. I did a short the other day. It's just every time that we have momentum, we've been taking steps back, right? Last year, we're coming off a 9-win season. We get Penn State on a big noon kickoff. It's our best team we think in years. We fall flat on our face. There wasn't one thing to cheer about in that game that got us excited. Maybe when Penn State fumbled the first drive. But after that, we got exposed. We got exposed against Iowa State, Kansas State. We finished 6-7. Then in basketball last year, we are on the cusp. We should have been a tournament team. We beat Gonzaga for the first time in a long time. We beat Kansas on the road.
We just got screwed on that one.
And then your coach, and then you don't. By the time you even have to digest that, your coach is gone 24 hours later. You can't make it up. So that's why, going back to what we talked about earlier, Ross Hodge and Rich Rodriguez are the most 2 important men in that state because they need to inspire hope in this fan base, and we need it now. It can't be 3 or 4 years.
So to answer my question, you would front load the whatever it is. Let's say it's
I would do whatever it takes to start winning immediately because if you win immediately, the money will flow in other ways. You need to start winning immediately. It's that dire, in my opinion.
Maybe it's 10 million, maybe it's a little more, but I mean, that's significant next year if you could get it all at once. I don't know how it works,
It's a giant risk, though. I mean, look what people are doing now. People are saying they're going to take. Oh, I'm going to go 3 or 4 games. We stumble our foot, and they're going to walk. So like, it's a really big risk. I'm glad I'm not making that decision.
Yeah. Here's what gives me hope. Here's the only thing that gives me hope. Can we spin what Texas Tech did? No. We've always been at a disadvantage, though, right? Unless something else external happens that puts us in a position, maybe then. Do you need to get off here?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Maybe something puts us in a position to where we can go above and beyond, 5 or 8 million one year. Like, Texas Tech they spent 20 million outside of the cap, right? Like that's insane. So
they see it. They see an opportunity though, because they're right now.
Yeah, it's a great investment, no doubt.
They see the opportunity because they could if they hit this year,
position yourself.
They could plant that flag and say we're running it. So it's an opportunity for them. Like I said, is it realistic that we're going to spend that much money? No, but we need to definitely level up more than what we're doing.
We've got a billionaire that could make it happen so easily too. I mean, I know it's not all on him. It's not anywhere close to his problem to have to fix, but it just, if I had his money, we would 1,000%. It would be $100 million in our account yesterday.
If Mountaineer Paul ever wins the lottery, there will be signs.
Oh yeah, there'll be signs for sure. I might not live to see us win the national championship, but I'm just kidding.
You'll see the Mountain Dew ears. There'll be like the Mountain Dew will be all over the stadium. You'll know if Paul hits.
Our jersey colors will change. I'll probably, how they have those things that like shoot water out.
Paul,
hold on.
You would have a suite to the Mountaineer field.
This would be me.
You'd walk the team out if you were that big of a donor. You'd walk the team out with that. That'd be great.
Oh God. So yeah, obviously, here's what gives me hope though. So if you're telling me that Rich Rod could build it like he used to, where it's just, you stack a couple classes on top of each other and he can develop some players, then I get excited about that. I believe in that with him. And the fact that you have the cap now leads me to believe that you can bring your guys in and you can pay them to stay, right? You may not be able to go out and get a bunch of guys out of the portal. The problem with that is you have to get to a stable point to where you can just worry about bringing guys in from recruiting and retooling with 1 or 2 portal guys, or probably more like 5 or 8. But, what are your thoughts on that possibility with the way things are set up now? Like, maybe we can't go out and spend a bunch in the portal, but we can keep guys here with the cap.
Well, I think the only way to keep players here is if they see a glimmer of hope themselves. They're going to make business decisions too. So it's important to keep the team
contracts, unless you can figure that out.
It's important to keep team camaraderie up through this tough time, and we need to be competitive the rest of the year. And that will tell guys to stay, right? Because some guys are going to have tough decisions to make. If you're a guy that is bowling out and you get a call from another team, they're going to do what's best for them. So, like, we also right now have, like, we cannot just throw the season away, but we really need to hunker down through the adversity and find the leadership for next year. So I think before we can even get to next year, we have to really focus on the rest of this year.
Somebody is saying Nico Marchiol confirmed out. Let me see what's going on here.
Check your X account.
Oh yeah, he's officially out. Okay, so we need to. I'm going to try to do this in real time. Well, how about? Darn it, man.
Who reported it?
Huh?
Is it on the official availability report that just came out today?
It just put out 17 minutes ago by Mike Casasa. So, do you need to get off?
I'm good, man. I'm here. My kids are sleeping.
Well, how about this? Let's cut this off really quick. I'm gonna redo another video with Nico because as of right now, this is labeled a basketball video about Ross Hodge. So that's why I think it's not getting as much traction as I'm used to because it's not football right now. So what I'll do is I'll end this real quick. I'll just change the thumbnail out. Let me see if I can do it while I'm live. I have no clue if I can. I might be able to. That way people will know, like, okay, they're talking about the Nico thing because either that or I'll have to, you know what, probably be best just to start another video up because we've been talking for 40 minutes before we get to the topic, So that's what we'll do. We'll just do another video. Thanks, John. 5 minutes. We'll be right back. We'll discuss this Nico thing because I think it is a big deal. We'll be right back.